Alrighty, heaven. And anybody else wondering how I make the thumbnails, that was a fantastic suggestion. More behind the scenes stuff. I've always wanted to do more of that. Time wise, it is a little bit rough to carve it out, but I'm carving it out now, pairing it with the video I just did on
Huatli, Poet of Unity.
I'll do it live, how it happened, roughly the same process, because when you go from that, here, let's zoom in just a little bit more. You go from the base art there, it's kind of muted as most of it is, to that. Ooh, look at that pop back and forth. Oh, so good. Man, lovely stuff just standing out. You scroll out, looking on your phone, that's going to catch your attention. That's the idea. At least I love tweaking things, putting the name of the specific card I'm talking about behind it, or Galta Stampede Tyrant, as I did with Extreme Stampede Dinos. That was lovely stuff. Check it out if you haven't already. Certainly did the trick, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, there we go. We've got the base art. Want to spruce it up a bit, tweak the colors. Usually I start with the base art and adjusting all the different levels here. I should probably switch that to the side just so you can see them properly. Okay. All the different features. Vibrance, usually it's the top. I slide it to there. Oh, that's looking pretty good. It doesn't do a whole lot, but trust me, it will all come together. You see how, just a little bit redder. Good. We're getting somewhere. Saturation. I don't do saturation a whole lot just because, a little bit goes a long way. Just they pop, but they can pop too much. If we send this, look at that. That could be the effect you're going for, but certainly you can, that's overkill. They're too bright. I mean, it would catch people's attention, maybe in the wrong way perhaps. So I like a good, about 19, 20-ish. Starting to really come together. Like that alone, that's pretty good. Adding definition with the background and the dinosaurs, the feathers, of course, the lovely rainbowish on the dinosaurs from MtG the Gathering are pretty fantastic stuff. But we're not done yet. Wait, there's more. Brightness. This one is pretty bright already. Sometimes I like to tweak it a touch, just a bit. Exposure, play around with that. The main idea is just playing around with it till you see it works. You get into a system, a rhythm. All the stuff you usually tweak for most arts, you just go back to it. I know the vibrance. I'm going to be tweaking that to saturation. I throw it to the side, roughly the same amount. Some art, though, is pretty dark for sure, and I like to up the contrast. Speaking of contrast, we'll get to that. I use that quite a bit. Yeah, there we go. It's kind of like saturation a little bit, but definitely better with those frills. We could go back and tweak saturation too if you, even brighter. We'll keep the saturation about 20-ish or so, but I think that's looking pretty good. You can see right around this dinosaur in particular, that's really standing out. That's exactly what I'm looking for, the kind of effect that I'm looking for. Press compare again. Oh my goodness. I only tweaked 3 or 4 settings and already, you got to admit, that's like popping. Beautiful stuff right there. And how long did that take? A couple minutes. Lovely. You too can do this. Whatever, if you're making your own videos or if you just want to practice, make things look even better than they already are. There's always room for improvement, as the name of the channel goes, but we're still not done. Absolutely. Got the contrast going. Maybe that's a little bit too aggressive though. Put it down to 19. If you're wondering what I'm using, this is the web-based Pixlr.com, Pixlr. Black. We're going with black. We got contrast, but up in that, just makes it usually a little bit better. Pop a little bit more. That Brontodon in the back, I really want to try and bring the blue out a little bit. I kind of like the depth aspect of it. White, we probably don't need to do too much white. Of course, again, we can just fiddle with the setting. Oh, it does what I want. It doesn't do what I want. And we'll keep it there. Shadows, though. Shadows is the interesting thing. So the dark parts, the nose around the dinosaur here, likely the hair and whatnot. So the shadows, if we make the shadows a high number, a positive number, they'd be brighter. But if it's darker, oh, look, they get darker. So you can tweak the specific areas of an image to get a desired effect. The highlights, the lighter stuff. Did that do what I want? Maybe. Oh, no, that's too bright. Sometimes for further contrast, I make the shadows themselves even darker. Pairing contrast with shadow darkening really does make them pop further than ever before. The highlights, though, it's already pretty bright, so it just makes everything brighter. It's not exactly what I'm going for. I can make it darker, which actually could be good in some cases. Some of the art is, a little bit white, bleached, hard to tell. So if you reduce the highlights of, say, the forest in the background, you want to elevate that, make it pop a little bit more. You can reduce the highlights, and you see as those trees kind of came into existence. Highlights at the moment is minus 85. Bring it back to normal, and you can kind of see how they kind of disappear a little bit. They certainly get quite a bit brighter, and even worse. So yeah, sometimes if I want forests to pop, some element with that, an element that is bright, rays of sunlight, tweak the highlights, make it a negative number, and that can bring some element of the image into focus. Details here, we've got sharpen, clarity, smooth. I don't do a whole lot. Blur, sometimes I do blur if I want the background of a video I'm recording just to not be as much of a focus. If I'm bringing in cards, animating that to slide in from the side and whatnot, but I just left it as unblurred from the video, so we'll keep it like that. Basically the same. Doesn't look exactly the same, but you get the idea. Vignette, glamour, there's not a whole lot there that I use. It's a pretty recent update specifically to Pixlr here, but can have some fantastic effect. Bloom, I believe it just expands out from the middle, makes everything brighter, but not bright all at once. That's actually looking pretty interesting right there. Whew. I like it. Clarity, though. Clarity, I almost missed. So that's kind of adding definition to, lines and whatnot. You can see if I crank it. Not too much. If I zoom in, you'll really notice it. And it can really help. You might not see these details on your phone. Thumbnails, of course, are pretty small. But there, just enough. It's like the lines, the blue glowing lines on Huatli, you just notice them a bit more. The eyes, the teeth of the dinosaurs as well. And of course you can always go over any little element with a brush. We'll do that here. You'll see what I'm talking about. Retouch. You can go blur, sharpen. You can lighten certain areas, darken certain areas. Let's say I wanted to darken the mouth on the inside of one of the dinosaurs to add further contrast, but I don't want to add contrast to the entire image. Simply click the mode there, darken, the range. I'm not a professional by any means, but I just play around, and if it doesn't look good, I undo. Look, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Well, we'll do a couple other passes. Yeah. Extra scary. Menacing stuff. Sometimes it can get really funny if you're rubbing over it too much. It's pretty apparent. It sticks out like a sore thumb. But I think that was pretty reasonable. I think it made it certainly a little bit darker and just more contrast in the right area. Could maybe go over maybe her eyes. Actually, no, we want to lighten those. We'll go to the lighten mode. Lighten and yeah, that's like a glowing effect. I'm all for that. Ooh, let's do it. And it kind of goes around with the eye, just how my brush brush size is set. Which kind of helps naturally with what I'm looking to go for. It's a little bit scary. Again, it's a small detail you might not notice, but then if you compare it to the original image, you definitely would notice. I could add some glowing effects as well. I got that as a base. I often use this particular one that I'm doing here. I can change the color as well to be purple if I really wanted to. Just if it made sense for the image. Sometimes I spend a bunch of time, sometimes I don't. Really all depends how much time I have, and if I'm working on the thumbnail for the stream that I'm hoping to start right away. Tonight is not that case, but let's get it right in the middle of her eye. I probably would add two, but we'll add one for now. Adjust the tint, the hue, the temperature. The hue. Oh, look at that. It already started out as yellow. If it's white, it's pretty hard to change the hue of a particular image. As long as it's some color, you can do that. Might as well match it up to a sort of purple. That's close enough, I think. It does the trick. And already it doesn't quite line up. If I zoom out, something seems a little bit off. It certainly seemed like it was lined up with the pupil, but not quite. It really probably should line up with the eyeball itself. I could transform this and just manipulate it so it seems like it's coming out on a bit of an angle. We won't get into that right now. This is getting in the thick of it already, but hey, there you go. It looks like it's glowing. It's popping a little bit more. Oh, that is lovely, lovely stuff. Let's actually switch the image and you'll see. Oh, no, that's pretty close. Getting pretty close. But I like this as well. I could spend all hours on this. But I think that was a pretty good start for the video. But you can see how quickly. I mean, I've only been going for 13 minutes and already it's a poppin', that's for sure. But we got to get the image, Huatli, Pode of Unity, behind. How do you do that? Oh, well, let's get there. I already have it queued up now. The specific bar where it comes from is actually from the different art, the alternate art extended from the Lost Caverns of Excellence. So I have to basically cut around it. Fairly simple process. I have that selected. We're good to go. Press cutout and I go to keep. So this makes sure as I'm highlighting, I'm only keeping what's green. I know for a fact after I let go, everything that wasn't selected disappears. So I know I don't miss a spot, an edge on the card, anything like that that could interfere with the image. It's gone. Absolutely. Certainly, usually it's a little bit closer, but now I just have to go trim around things here. Reduce the size of this. Sometimes they take longer than others. In some images, some element that you pull out, you can use the magic wand and click a particular spot and it will take out all that excess that I want to. I'm basically trimming right up around here. We could give it a go. I didn't use that for the thumbnail for the actual video, but it's always fun to see what happens. Crank the tolerance to 100 so it'll remove hopefully everything. It should go right up to the black edge of this. Of course, if it doesn't, you got Control Z undo what you did. And usually I go with a light softness, so that adds not so harsh of a line. You really notice that harsh line, and if you can have the softness similar to the pixels, that are going around here, that really helps it blend in. But if it is no softness, it's just this hard, jagged edge, and it doesn't really match up with the resolution that you're going for. The resolution of this image, it's kind of blurry and whatnot. So kind of keep that in mind. If something seems off, that could be what is off. But let's see how much it removes. This is yeah, I didn't think so. I figured that wouldn't be the case. Okay, that's going to take too long. Usually that's how it goes. So just remove. We're on remove. Softness, I try to look for a softness that is, again, similar to the pixels. That is removing a little bit too much. And the brush size is probably a little bit too much. Yeah, increase the brush size a bit. It got kind of choppy in here. That's an effect I'm not really going for. A result I'm not really going for. You can see how it's getting kind of spotted into the black line there. Also not exactly what I like. This is probably too in-depth, but I like to go in-depth and make it just sometimes as good as I possibly can. Crank the softness. Ooh, softness was 4%. Okay, this should be much better. Oh, I think that's good. The line that the eraser leaves is pretty close, again, to the resolution. And usually it doesn't take too long, but that particular art for Huatli, Poet of Unity, has all those odd colored shapes, the purples and the yellows and everything, so took a little bit longer. Usually it's pretty quick for most legendary creatures here. Or legendary permanents. That's where you get this frame from. And nice that I can cut it out. If it is an extended art, it's already done for me. Works out beautifully. Sometimes I cut it in. Usually I try to get pretty close. I leave a big spot, and then I come back with a brush to clean up all the stuff I didn't get after I cut it in here like I'm doing now. Or I just use the same brush if it's not too much, but it could be a pretty massive image. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Sometimes I miss a spot, and it really does stand out massively. Certainly would be nice on a drawing pad, something where I could see the image on the tablet type thing, and then just use a stylus and run it right along that edge. That would be ideal, but this is certainly absolutely good enough for my purposes, and probably a lot of people's. Just putting a nice little bit of effort whenever possible. Of course, if time allows, that really can help whatever type of content you're creating or anything. If you're looking to start a business, just practice, do it, go through the motions, do it again, then do it again, and just never stop. Kind of like how I never stopped playing dinos. In all aspects, whatever aspects that are involved in making a channel, I love it. I'll probably never have enough time, but I'll just keep doing it, and we'll get there. Practice up, better and better and better. Yeah, there you go. And you zoom out again. I may have missed a small piece, but zooming out, you don't notice it. We're certainly not done yet. I have to tuck this behind Huatli there. Now, how do you do that? You say, oh, we'll get there. Well, yeah, see? You see, I missed a spot. It was kind of over here, blended in with the yellows of the original image, but we'll clear it up. We'll make it look better. Center it. Yeah, that's centered. I think that looks pretty good. Pretty close to the original. Okay, we missed that spot on the left corner here. Got to get it. Hit it with that brush. Can't have that sticking out like a sore thumb. Okay. Yeah, that should be pretty good. And then, tucking it behind. It's all centered. We have the exact base image, the updated image. Pop in. Copy it. That's what you do. Control C. Control V to paste. Perfect. Drag it above everything. Oh, look at that. Boom. Disappears. Now, we have it on the front. What did I use before? The keep brush. That's what we're doing here. We're basically keeping pretty much everything from here up of Huatli. And that's just going to tuck it behind. We have that image, the duplicate that is above everything. We can be rough. We're going to cut it in, finish it off afterwards. Fairly close. I don't want to do more erasing than I absolutely have to. Again, I try to go as quick as possible. And I think this is decently quick. Boom, there you go. How fast was that? Of course, I gotta trim it up and whatnot. Actually, I have to remove her eye. Oh, yeah. Never mind, I gotta remove the eye. It's got the glowing part. There. Lovely. Beautiful. I think we'll leave it there for now. You get the idea. Trimming around her hair. Making it all pop. That's how it comes together. Hopefully that helped. A nice little behind the scenes of how I made that thumbnail. Dinos for life. Take a bite out of that like button. See you next time. Peace.